yours.
Okay.
Wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, I'm Veronica Corbelli.
And I'm Dawn Corbelli. And we both have traumatic brain injuries. Has anybody heard of a traumatic brain injury? Do you know anybody with a traumatic brain injury? No. No, I'm so glad. You do? Yes, absolutely. Is it anybody you're related to?
Yeah, it was my great grandma.
Do you, did you recognize symptoms that she didn't think exactly the way you do?
Mom. Play it.
I will. I want to know this for a minute.
I know, but you have to like press play.
I don't know what you're talking about, it's fine.
Alright.
Okay, you can tell about yourself first.
So this is the car we were in. I was driving with my permit. I was 15. I was actually a very good driver. That's why they're called accidents. That's what my dad tells me all the time. It was a coincidence that it happened because 1 year prior, my sister's old friend died 1 street prior in the exact same kind of car accident.
Same time of day?
Same time of day, everything, and that morning my chemistry teacher and I were just talking about her car accident, and he was like, "You're in so-and-so's seat," and I was like, "Watch, now I'll get in a car accident." And he was like, "Don't say that, don't say that," and so, and then when I did, he was one of the first teachers at the hospital. So, the school had to call, or the hospital had to call the school to tell them to stop sending kids because so many kids were lining the halls and the doctors couldn't get past. Because Mom and I, like, our family was such a big part of the school. We were so active in like extracurriculars.
Mm-hmm.
And so I spent,
Wait a minute, I will change it now.
okay.
Oh.
Yeah, see, press play.
What are you talking about?
Like, Michelle has to press play.
Okay. Right here?
Yeah,
You want me to
yes.
press play?
Alright, there you go. Yeah,
Okay, now I can start?
yeah.
Oh.
Oh, you rock,
I know,
Rhonda. Oh my
I know.
gosh.
I tried.
No, the picture's not there.
Go,
Go back.
yeah, go back.
It's supposed to be right after that. Did you put up you put up the different one? There's 2 on there,
Okay.
and it's supposed to be October 22. Sorry, guys.
You want this one?
If it says October 22.
Yeah, that's what I have.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm so confused as to what is going on.
And now I push play.
Yes. And I'll press the space bar.
Okay. There we go.
Okay. That was me in the ICU. Where I was for 3 weeks because I was in a 2.5-week coma. I had to relearn everything all over again from infancy. I had a feeding tube, I had exploratory surgery, I had a trach, I had a filter, which is like 5, what is it? Yeah, it's like 5,
I don't really know though.
I don't know. I mean, you
Tell what
think-
happened to you.
Okay, I broke both hips, 8 fractures in my pelvis, I strained my brainstem, bruised my frontal lobe, broke my left ankle, paralyzed my left side. I had to relearn how to walk, talk, write, eat, roll over, everything, get out of a diaper. I was in a 2.5-week coma. And like a severe traumatic brain injury, like if you Google that, it would not be a picture of me. Like, I'm not per
She's a miracle.
Yeah, I'm not per usual.
We were told that Veronica would remain in a vegetative state, and here she is. She just kept getting better and better.
On my 16th birthday, I walked out of the hospital. So, it was a pretty good gift.
Okay, my name is Dawn Corbelli, and I have a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was on the passenger side of the car, and did I already tell you I have 6 breaks in my pelvis?
No.
Okay, 6 breaks in my pelvis, and 9 staples in my head. I was in the hospital for 3 weeks. Veronica did you tell you were in for 3.5 months?
Yeah.
And I lost my memory for 7 weeks. They could bring me my breakfast, and as soon as my tray was taken away, I didn't even know that I had eaten. So it was a hard time. I'm gonna go on. Okay, today we're gonna talk about the definition of a TBI, the severity of brain injuries, statistics, and common problems.
And you guys can ask questions at any time. TBI definition is a traumatic brain injury, is an acquired brain injury.
I'm gonna stop you. An acquired brain injury can be traumatic or not traumatic. An accident can cause a traumatic brain injury. It's something that happens from the outside. It's a blow to the head. But a non-traumatic brain injury is like an illness or a disease. But you can also get a brain injury from, I have a list because it's kind of long. I'm behind. Not doing so good today. I'm sorry. We gotta step it up. You can also get it from an infected mosquito bite, like the infected mosquito bites you and you can get a brain injury from that. A mouth infection, like if you have a tooth infection, it can go to your brain. A sinus infection, alcohol and drug use, oxygen deprivation, and a tick that causes Lyme disease. I was surprised at all those.
It's caused by an external force, like Mom just said, resulting in total or partial functional disability or psychological or social impairment, or both, adversely affects a person's educational performance. And I graduated high school with my original class in 2010 after missing 3 months of my sophomore year.
And the reason it can affect you at your educational performance is because often when you have a brain injury, you're very, very tired. You sleep most of the hours during the day. Veronica only went half days.
To begin with.
And okay, I lost my train of thought because I have a brain injury. You have a question.
Would it be good and bad? Like the brain?
Could it be good and bad?
Yes.
Well, I have to tell you, it wasn't good for us, but my brother, my daughter's husband has 4 brain injuries, and I think it made him more intelligent. He
has like 2 masters, and he graduated from
West Point,
West Point. Like, he is brilliant.
and he was an officer in the Army, and yeah, it seems like he became more intelligent, and the reason is, I'll tell you in a minute, it's on a slide. But for us, I forget my words, and sometimes when people talk fast, I can't keep up with what they're saying, so I have to ask them to repeat themselves, because I'll get stuck on the first or second word, and I just can't, it's like blah, 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 blah. That's all,
Mhm.
I just don't understand what they're saying. And sometimes I'll ask my husband to repeat himself and he thinks I'm not listening to him, but it's because I just didn't process what he was saying,
Yes.
so.
How did you get in the car accident? Like, did you like crash into something or no?
I was pulling out from, well, now there's a light there. It's, Bradley turned on the powers and 8 years, 14 years ago, there was just a stop sign, but now there's a light. I asked my mom if she saw anything. I didn't see anything, and we were turning left, and we got T-boned.
But the 4x4 truck that T-boned us on the
Didn't
driver's,
see us either.
there was no skid marks. Like, they didn't even try and stop. And what my husband says he thinks might have happened is there was a truck, probably a big semi coming, and they were turning right, and maybe the truck was behind the big truck, so we didn't see it, and we started to pull out. We'll never know what really happened, but that's what we're guessing happened.
Because if something's supposed to happen, I believe it's gonna happen.
Yeah. We're very faithful and believe in God very deeply. And we think he got us through. Go ahead.
What is a brain injury? An injury to the brain caused by a blow to the head, penetration of the skull caused by an accident. The injury may disrupt functioning in a single accident of area of the brain, focal damage, or impacts multiple areas of brain functioning, diffuse damage. Adverse effects could be short-term or lifelong. Mine and Mom's are lifelong.
Yeah, that's the symptoms or side effects that we got from it. I have to tell you, Veronica and I had to like learn how to read again because something in our brain was affected and we couldn't read for a long time. I read like a 5-year-old trying to put words together. So if you hear a few mistakes, that's why. We're doing good.
I had 3 type therapy for 2 years after the accident. I had physical, occupational, and speech for 3 years after the accident, or 2 years.
2 years. And in the hospital, somebody came and said one night that was visiting, Veronica, why are you so tired all the time? And all you do is sleep all day. And my husband and I jumped to like we were offended. Cause she was going to 6 hours a day of therapy, all three types in the morning and all 3 types in the afternoon. So
And when your brain is healing, you sleep
a lot.
so.
Okay.
Statistics. Every 23 seconds, one person in the US sustains an acquired brain injury. 1 in 500 students sustains an acquired brain injury each year in the US. 1 in 25 students will sustain an acquired brain injury before high school graduation. Overall, twice as many boys as girls. High risk is 0 to 4 years old and 15 to 19 years old.
How old are you in here?
Okay, yes.
Is this like what you guys do full time? Like, do you have any other jobs, or like, is this like your full time job?
We
or, like,
can't
you're
work.
teaching it?
My memory is really bad and I have bipolar disorder. Have you ever heard of that, any of you? And, stress brings on, the episodes of bipolar disorder with depression and mania. So work is not a good idea for me, but also I can't keep up with what people say so often that it makes it really hard to work. I did volunteer in the beginning at a place called National Alliance on Mental Illness. And because I had a mental illness before the accident too, I was able to, we looked up resources and gave them to people that called in. So I could tell them I need to call you back, and then I would do what I needed to do, and I did that for 3 years. But then I realized I was doing it because I needed to, remind myself that I was still okay. Like I thought I was worthless because my brain was different and I was different. But I needed to really stay home because all Veronica could do during that time was sit in a recliner with her computer, the TV, and her phone. She wasn't allowed to do anything but go to the bathroom because it wasn't safe for her. So, and Veronica can't work.
Did you know any other languages before the accident?
No, but I have a friend who knew a whole bunch of languages and it's starting to come back to her. Does anybody else have a question? Did you raise your hand or no?
Is it hard for you to remember things, like in your past?
Oh, from the past. Okay, Veronica remembers so much from the past.
Like
It's our
my-
short-term memory that's affected.
my past memories before the accident and stuff is like spot on. But my short term, it's hard for me to sometimes remember what I had for breakfast, and that's why I like routine. And so I'll eat like Count Chocula every day.
Or another one for.
Or, yeah, and like I'll have coffee every day at 9:30, or and I watch Price is Right at 10 every morning, walk on the treadmill every day at 11, and it's just very routine for me, I live like an old person, but that's how I get through my life, and it works for me.
And as far as my memory, I have to write notes and I put them everywhere. We have a whole bunch of notes on the microwave and on the kitchen counter. It doesn't look exactly neat, but I need them to get through my day. If I don't have notes, I am not very productive. I actually have a routine I write things on the calendar and a little date book. And then the night before, I write my list and this is so much detail. I put it on the right side of the counter, so when we eat dinner, we have room on the left side of the counter. And then after dinner, I move the note to the left side of the counter so I can see it. And then actually the night before, my husband will look at the calendar too, and if I'm going somewhere, he'll ask me if I know where I'm going. Because I get lost, I can get lost a mile from home and not know where I am, and I panic because it's scary when you're driving along and you don't know where you're going, why you're going there, or where you are. And I used to call my husband panicked at work all the time because I got lost a lot before. And he would say, you have to go to the next intersection because I can't help you. And Veronica's with me most of the time, and when I get lost, she panics, but she has her phone. So GPS is a miracle for us. It helps us every day. And then my husband in the morning will ask me again if I know where I'm going. And if I don't, he actually will make a map for me. But sometimes I go places that's not on my list and I get lost. So, that's our routine for my memory. And we're very, very thankful to get to come to talk to students in school because not a lot of people know about brain injuries and not a lot of people know people that have them. And we're hoping to touch just one person and hope that if you meet somebody in the future, you'll have compassion for them because they might behave in a way that is inappropriate. And I'm hoping that you don't look at somebody even in school that is acting out and look at them and say, what a loser, because they might have a brain injury or some kind of brain disease, and it's not their fault that they act that way. And another thing is that can happen that I would really hope that you would have compassion about is not everybody has the cool clothes, and you might make them an outcast because they just don't fit in with your group. But you never know where that child came from. You don't know their history. They might have a parent with a bad brain injury and they don't have anybody to support them, and all they get is Social Security, and the kid has to go to like a secondhand store like Goodwill, and that's the only clothes they can get, and their parent is barely able to pay for food for them, and they can't help it. You never know where somebody came from, so I would hope that you would have compassion for others. Okay, I'm off my soapbox. It's very important to me. So, okay, next one. Very important to me. Okay, shearing and tearing of neurons. When an injury occurs.
So like, when I sheared my brainstem, and so like, my brainstem was sheared, it was pulled apart so
Right
far.
here.
It was pulled apart so far, it almost ripped, but it didn't. And
People don't usually recover from that.
Yeah,
They
like-
usually die.
so it was like, yes.
I was just gonna ask, like, what happens if it does tear? Like,
Yeah, usually
yeah,
they
they
don't
usually
make it.
die.
I can't believe if anybody made it, but you know what? Veronica wasn't supposed to make it either. And she's here and she's functioning. Yes,
If they did make it and their, thing was torn, would they be paralyzed?
you know what? I don't know exactly what would happen, but I do know whenever you get an injury to your brain, well, Veronica got an injury to hers, and the hypothalamus is right above it, and that affects your metabolism and your temperature.
Like
and-
my hypothalamus was damaged, and so I've gained almost 100 pounds since our accident. So,
Now you can read your letter. Do you have your letter?
yeah, it's right there.
Veronica was writing one day, because we're on social media, and she wrote something that I thought was really good. I have a website, and I'm gonna put it on my website, so other people can understand.
I read it October 12th. It says, it makes me so angry when I get hungry every hour from the time I wake up until I go to bed. I don't feel it's fair for me to have to, I don't feel it's fair for me to have a severe TBI, not be able to run, have a damaged hypothalamus, etc. If I can't even be skinny. I just feel like since I had to go through all this, my reward should not have to be me staying fat. I would love to take a pill, a magic pill, and be skinny the next day. It doesn't help that my brain forgets that I feed my stomach, or that now that I'm so heavy I can eat my family out of house and home. No, I hate that I'm sitting and writing down my complaints. You'd think my name would be Karen or something. All this low self-confidence really comes into play when I'm in a relationship. I'm overly jealous, and I'm of the stupidest shit. I accuse constantly. It doesn't help in my last relationship. My boyfriend was a huge liar about everything. He was very good at keeping secrets. Then there came a point in our relationship, he told me I better not gain any more weight, because then he 100 wouldn't be attracted to me. He only had himself to blame though. All he would feed me was shit he could get from 7-Eleven. The funny part about the situation, I couldn't care less about what he looked like. He or thought of me. He had rotten teeth in his head, and was an alcoholic. It's weird. I feel like I've grown up all the way this time around, so I know what I want and or need. Sorry.
When you see somebody that's heavy, you automatically assume that they eat a lot. There was a time when Veronica didn't eat a lot and she was still 80 pounds heavier than she was when, before the accident. And it was because her hypothalamus wouldn't let her lose weight. So, don't judge people. I know I keep
And
saying
I don't
that.
want you to like think that I just like don't care. Like he was really hot. The only thing wrong with him,
If he had his mouth closed, he'd
yeah,
be okay.
if he had his mouth closed, he was really freaking hot, but he didn't like to brush his teeth. And I just was like, well, this is the best I can get, so I better not break up with him. And he had like 4 or 5 rotten teeth, and I still fucking kissed him. Sorry.
Veronica doesn't have a good filter. You know when, you think something and you're like, I better not say that out
Sorry,
loud.
I don't have
Veronica
that.
says everything out loud because of her brain injury.
I'm sorry.
It's interesting and fun in a crowd.
So fun.
So, yeah, that's cuss words and sometimes being inappropriate, and that's okay. You guys are old enough to handle it. You use those words. Did anybody have any questions? No? Okay.
Mild, moderate, severe. Injuries can range from mild, a brief change in mental functioning, to severe, extended period of unconsciousness. Significant long-term disability. Full effects of brain injury may not be apparent until later when the person is affected to perform more advanced skills and to regulate their behavior.
A lot of Veronica's, behaviors that were not like others, like speaking in an unfiltered manner, and she was very hypersexual, and she would talk about
I
sex,
was.
and, it's gotten a lot better, but it scares people away. We didn't have friends for like 10 years. We would sit on the couch and pray that, friends would come back into our lives. We were very, very lonely, and believe it or not, I'm very grateful that I got in the accident with Veronica, because I would never want my daughter to be alone going through this. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Go to the next one. Severity of brain injury, mild. Brief or no loss of consciousness, sign of concussion, nausea and vomiting, headache, fatigue, dizziness, poor recent memory, unable to form new memories following the injury. Most times, new memories are accumulated within 1 hour after injury.
Have any of you had a concussion from sports? Yeah. How did it affect you afterwards? Anybody? Did it give you any of those symptoms? Yeah? Nobody wants to talk to me? That's
I know.
okay. Yes.
I didn't have a concussion, but my little sister did by falling off a counter when she was 3. And she did have like lots of dizziness and fatigue after it, but it wasn't a bad concussion. It was more of a mild and not like severe. But yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. Does she still have any effects?
No, it didn't affect her too bad, but yeah,
Good.
she doesn't have any lasting effects. Thankfully.
That's good. Did you have a question, or were you just like moving?
Well, one of my friends who was in boxing had a lot of concussions, and he can't remember a lot of things.
I love to watch boxing, but every time they get hit, I go, oh, brain injury. Oh, Another brain injury.
Were you gonna say something? No? Oh. Moderate, coma less than 24 hours, unable to form new memories following the injury for at least 24 hours.
So when I was in the hospital, it was Memorial, and they used to have a, buffet on Sundays, and it was put on by the Broadmoor chefs, and the food was super good, and I wanted to go so bad, but I kept falling asleep, and so I would miss it. And one day my husband went, and he brought back these 2 huge pieces of cake, and, he was gonna have some when I woke up with me. Well, I woke up before he came back, and he wasn't even in my mind. I didn't even think that about him coming back, and I ate both pieces. And he came back and said, "What did you do?" I wanted one of those. So, oops, yeah.
Did you go to the next one?
I thought I did.
Oh, yes, go back.
Go back?
Severe, coma more than 24 hours, unable to form new memories following the injury longer than 24 hours.
Veronica lost her memory for 3 months before, except for snapshots. Like, we both have snapshots of that period of time. But, 3 months before and 3 months after. So, there's
Like I don't remember 2007 Christmas. I don't remember, so October 2007, me, my sister, and like our group of friends, we had like a dress up picnic one Saturday where like girls wore dresses and boys wore collared shirts, and we all like we took pictures and everything, and like the only reason I remember it is from the pictures, but that was the day I lost my virginity. I don't remember it. I just know it because my boyfriend told me.
Went to the hospital one day. Veronica didn't have her voice for over 2 months. And I went in one day, and she had this little tiny whisper voice, and she tried to pull me down, and I put my ear to her lips. She goes, "I'm not a virgin." I said, "How do you know?" And she said, "Jordan told me." So, that's a bummer to forget something like that.
Yeah. And that was me learning to eat, and that's like soft food. So,
Veronica was eating very, very fast, and that's the first meal she had after she had a feeding tube, and, that was probably about 2.5 months.
and mom and dad were like, "Oh, she must love the food, you know," and like, and the doctor and nurses were
Cause
like,
she
"No,
was
it's
eating
her
really
impulse."
fast.
Cause I had no impulse control, like everything was just like, you know, like,
And then she started choking on the food, so it was impulse control. I thought she was just happy to have real food.
I mean, I was.
There she is relearning more motor skills. We went to school during the end of the year, her sophomore year before her junior year when she went back to school. And she was on her walker. Have any of you heard of an IEP? Nobody?
Wait, I've heard of it, but I don't know what.
Uh,
I
Yeah,
forget.
is it like a special like plan?
Yes, it
My
is.
mom's a head teacher, so.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a special plan for your education. She had to take some special classes to be able to graduate on time. And, instead of having, study hall,
I had
there was a
like,
teacher
I
that
like
would
learning
help her.
lab,
Mhm.
which is like, it's like study hall, but you have like,
They did her
special
homework with her,
teachers
she never had
that
homework.
like helped me with my homework and, yeah.
But so, during that time, when we were at the school having that meeting, Veronica was on her walker and we were walking past the stairs when, the bell rang. And it was a traffic jam and all these people are like, this effing, you know, what's the problem? And they were pushing and shoving. And it made us feel really bad because it was Veronica on a walker. You know, I wish that sometimes high school people had a little bit more patience. And if you ever are in a situation, please try and be a little bit more patient, cause you never know.
How great though, I got to wear 3 months of pajamas, like,
Yes.
yeah,
Did you have an IEP before?
no.
Like,
No.
Any?
I was really smart, but I did not apply myself. So my dad even talked to me the Christmas break before when I brought home my report card and it was like all like C's and D's and you know, like, he was like, you're gonna have to break up with your boyfriend if you don't get your grades up. And I was like, Dad, just face it, I'm your average daughter.
Because our other one was
Like,
straight A's.
brilliant.
But it doesn't matter, everybody has a different brain. Go ahead.
So this is a graph of the vast majority of students with brain injuries returning to school have mild injuries, which is almost 90,
That
And
get
then-
mild.
and then moderate is almost 10%, and severe is almost like 5%. So I was like, a miracle.
It was amazing that Veronica got to go back to school. And she had a teacher, before we move on, she had a teacher that, said to her,
Why can't you do this? You used to be able to do it before the accident.
and she came home and asked me if her kids were gonna be retarded like her. Oh, I already did it. Common problems, difficulty with memory, attention, concentration, and fatigue are common. May have problems with motor or movement, sensory, senses, perceptual, becoming aware of senses, cognitive is just thinking, communication, social, emotional, behavioral functioning. Do you have any questions about what any of those are? No? Okay.
Common problems. Certain types of difficulties are common in students with TBI. Problems can be physical, medical, cognitive, sensory, motor, social, emotional, and behavioral. Like, I have, I take something because I have a common problem.
Something medicine?
Yeah,
Yeah, medicine.
because I have a common problem with traumatic brain injury,
Mm-hmm.
that my neuropsychologist told my parents that I might have, and it's like, I get my emotions mixed up, so like, if something is funny, I'll cry. Like, it'll be like the middle of my sentence, and I'll be like saying it, and like, I'll just start crying.
She came in to tell me something about our dog.
Yeah,
He was
like,
a
I
puppy.
just took a walk with him, sorry.
And she was so happy because he did really well,
He
and
was
she's
just
telling
puppy,
me,
and, you know, like, he did
she's
so
crying.
good. And I was like, how is it so good? Like,
And then, you might see somebody with a brain injury like that cry at a funeral, laugh at a funeral when things aren't funny.
sensory perceptual problems, visual deficits, tracking, moving, and stationary objects,
Okay, and spatial relationships,
Yeah.
Veronica had a bad problem with that.
Like,
Every time she walked into everything because she couldn't tell where it was. She had double vision for a really long time. Yes?
So, did the dog help with your emotional situation?
That is a great question. The day she got out of the hospital, she asked for 3 things.
a
And they're
car,
inappropriate.
sex from my boyfriend, and a black lab.
She got a black lab, and we were told by the doctors that it wouldn't be a good idea for her to get a dog. It would be like taking care of 2 babies, because Veronica was like between toddler and 5-year-old when we brought her home. She had to grow up all over again. And he used to lay on a blanket with her when she had to do her stretches, and she never wanted to do them. So when he laid with her, she was more willing, and she got more exercise because even when she was on her walker, she would take him outside.
Play ball with him, and
Yeah,
I would get up and let him outside, and I would feed him, and like it was really good for me, like to have that responsibility. But yes,
Was there other things that like helped you, like that the doctor said like wouldn't or like didn't even mention?
Having a boyfriend, they told my boyfriend that it might not be very good for me to for him to stick around because I might cheat on him because I would be overly sexual.
Mhm.
But
and for years, she would offer it to anybody. And she was very touchy-feely, even on married men. She would touch their faces and necks and chests and stuff.
But my boyfriend stuck with me for a year after, we broke up a year after my accident, so we were together for 2 years altogether, and we just upped our sex life.
She never strayed.
When I'm in a relationship, I don't stray, but when I'm single,
Have a good time.
I mingle. But that is how I got raped a few times.
Yes. Neglect or lack of response to half of the visual field. Some people that have brain injuries only recognize half of what they see. Like if they draw something, they'll only draw half of a person, or half of a butterfly, or half of a plate. Like they only recognize half of their plate of food. They don't even see that there's food on the other side. It's called hemianopsia. So they have a name for it. Auditory deficits. Loud noises are really startling to me, and whenever, I don't know why, whenever a motorcycle that's really loud goes past when I'm driving, my arms lock and I get really, really scared, and I don't know why that happens. Or you may hear things that aren't really there. So, that's also scary.
And that has happened to Mom too, when she was having a bipolar episode, she thought she was going schizophrenic.
Yeah, but I wasn't, but they have bipolar 2 and bipolar 1, and they have different symptoms, and they changed my diagnosis because I hallucinated.
Yeah.
It was horrible. And my episodes have become worse since I've had my brain injury.
And her tactile deficit. So it's because I was paralyzed on my left side, now, at the beginning when it was all my nerves were right at the front of my skin, when I would test my shower water or whatever, it would feel extremely hot.
We had to test the water.
Yeah.
So she wouldn't
I wouldn't burn myself.
At first, it
No,
didn't feel
yeah,
hot.
at the beginning it was
You couldn't feel how
yeah,
hot
it was
because your arm was
yeah,
numb.
it was numb. Now it's yes.
What was the hardest thing to relearn?
She even had to learn how to retie her shoes, or relearn how to tie her
But
shoes.
she asked what's the hardest thing.
I know. She used the little bunny ears. It was cute.
I think
Oh, drive.
I don't know how to drive still. I've tried several times, but I get the gas and brake mixed up. I don't know how to run still. I run like a 3-year-old.
Her left leg drags because of being paralyzed before. Oh, she tried to ride a bike.
And
And-
now I have a big tricycle. Like,
On the bike,
But-
every time she tried,
I don't know.
she would go up and down. She would try and pull them up and down
Like,
instead of
just
going
the
this way.
front. Like, yeah. So
That's
I
how she
think
ended
the
up on a
bike.
tricycle. So there's more
Yeah.
tires.
Was your situation better, like your mom's situation, because her getting to have her grow up more, like again?
Oh,
Well,
my
First of all,
my parents have had to like reparent me. Oh, like they still yell at me sometimes. Like I'm a teenager still, you know. Like
Veronica will always be 15
Yeah.
in a lot of ways. But I've been her caregiver since the accident, and we've watched her grow up again. And it is the weirdest thing. She even got acne and greasy hair all over again. Her brain
And,
thought
like,
she was going through puberty.
I didn't want to take a shower or something. Like I went through a period of that, you know, like when you're a teenager, like I don't want to shower. Yeah, like
But the reason that happened is because
I know it's gross, and now I'm like I take 2 showers a day.
a lot of people with brain injuries they get depressed, and also things that take too much effort they don't want to do because they're so tired. And other people get angry. There's something called adenemia, and Veronica has that, and it is a lack of motivation and initiation, and it makes it where she'll want to do something one day and then she won't want to do it the next. So she can never find a passion. Like people like sports, or they like running, or they like.
And I will tell you, before the accident, I was like an athlete. I was popular. Like I played 4 or 5 sports. Like I used to jog. During the summer, I would wake up at like set my alarm at like 6 a.m. and like go jogging on the treadmill. Like I was very fit and active.
She was.
I took very good care of myself. I had jobs. My first job was at 15. I worked at Dairy Queen. I would come home at night with like all this blizzard, like ice cream on my chest, you know, from like making, like I was very motivated. I had nothing wrong with me. I didn't take any pills. I didn't even do marijuana. Like, I got drunk one time at a party, and my dad had a
That was gross.
spoon up my throw up because it was Hawaiian punch and vodka. And my sister put the trash can 2 inches from my face, and I rolled over to the other side of the bed and threw up. But whatever.
And she drank a lot in the beginning after her injury.
Because I wanted to forget that I was brain injured. But I soon found that that got me into a lot of trouble. So I don't drink anymore. Like I may have like a beer or
When
whatever,
she's out
like,
to dinner with
yeah.
us, then she might have one.
But I don't drink anymore. Like I don't go out and get drunk and party, and you know, it's not for me. So
I don't either, because we had one way we lost our friends is we both became very sexual, and it's worse when you're drinking, and Veronica would pull her shirt up in front of everybody,
I
and
still do that, but it was worse when I was drinking.
I was very specific about the things I wanted to do to my husband in front of like a whole party of people, and we lost those friends. It was so inappropriate. So, moving on. Cognitive communication problems. Executive functions. Veronica has a severe problem with her executive functions, and that's in your frontal lobe. The mental processes that enable us to plan. It's very hard for her to plan. Focus attention,
I like lists.
remember instructions, and juggle multiple tasks successfully. You know how they say, you can multitask. Veronica cannot do that. Our memories are very poor. Attention, her attention is very poor, and it often has the qualities of attention deficit
Syndrome. ADHD.
Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Have any of you heard of that? Yeah? It just makes she can't keep her attention on things, and so, her concentration is poor. But actually, they have medicine for that, and when she was on it, that did help her. Information processing, sorry.
I'll let you finish. I can go after. You finish.
I have a lot of problems with information processing. I think I told you when somebody is speaking too quickly, I can't keep up with them. What was your question?
So like you didn't have any of these like things that you're diagnosed with before your accident?
I had bipolar disorder before,
Okay.
but yeah.
And you didn't either? Or
No, she was so
I was
stable.
literally perfect.
She was really stable, like my husband. Sequencing. Veronica has trouble sequencing. That means something could have happened this morning and she thinks it happened a week ago or a month ago. She can't tell when something happened. So when she tells us stories and stuff, we can't figure out when it happened. Problem solving. Veronica had glasses in the beginning, and I think she had hairspray or something on them. Her way to solve that problem was to take a nail file and scratch the spots off her glasses.
I was like, this won't hurt it. It's a soft file.
Yeah. Word retrieval. I have trouble with word retrieval. I've done pretty good during this class. Yes,
Did you guys wear glasses before?
I did, but Veronica did not.
I wore, since junior high, I wore to see far away. Like, I can see basketball games or, yeah.
But her sight is very poor now and it's getting worse, but glasses really help. Expressive language organization. That's saying words in the wrong order. You know what you wanna say, but you can't get them out in the right order. Sometimes we do that.
I have this social emotional problems in irritability, impulsivity, disinhibitions.
Disinhibition, yeah,
Oh.
Veronica has that. That goes on along with impulsivity. If she thinks about doing
Like,
something,
if I think you're cute and I wanna kiss you, I'll kiss you.
yeah.
No.
She did that at a ball game not long ago for somebody she didn't know.
And I was like, are you with her? He was like, no. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
My dad was like, oh my god.
Mhm. Perseveration, if Veronica doesn't get the answer she wants, she will keep asking the same thing over and over and over, and it's really hard for her to let it go. Emotional lability, we're on medicine for that. We have, we can get angry really fast or, happy, like our emotions are all over the place. And because of that, Veronica, you can tell what you just had done.
Oh, I just had a tube ligation, or I was supposed to have a hysterectomy, but I had my blood pressure got too low, so they just got to take my tubes out.
And then they had to close her up.
Yeah,
But,
so
Now she's still
I
can't
can't
have
have babies.
and the reason
They
is,
said 1 in a million, and I said, oh, I'll be lucky 1 in a million. So,
do you want to tell why? Kids. Veronica wanted to have 4 kids, and she gets angry super easy, and she's afraid that she might shake the baby or throw the baby or do something to hurt the baby and then calm down and say,
And
what
be
have
like-
I done?
Yeah.
So she's not having any kids. Insensitivity to social cues, that's where, say you're talking to somebody and you wanna be done talking to them and you're kind of backing up and you wanna get out of the conversation and the person keeps coming toward you. That's insensitivity to social
Low
cues.
frustration tolerance.
Mhm.
Anxiety, withdrawal,
You might withdraw from other people because you know that you're socially inappropriate.
egocentricity.
Mhm.
Egocentricity,
That's where it's all about you.
which like this presentation kind of is about me, right? I'm joking.
Denial of
denial.
deficit, lack of insight. It's really weird. I worked because I knew in the back of my mind that I had deficits and I wanted to prove to myself that I was still worthwhile, but at the same time, I always told people that only Veronica was in an accident.
For
I
years,
never
Mom
said
was
I
like,
was.
my daughter was in an accident, and now she's really hurt.
Oh, good.
And she would never say that she was in an accident too.
I was in denial of my disabilities. Depression.
I was depressed for years
Mhm.
after.
Peer conflict, you, when you're unfiltered, or if you, speak openly about what you wanna do to people sexually all the time, other people get very uncomfortable with that. And that's one
I don't know
reason
why.
why Veronica lost,
Everybody should be open.
Veronica lost a lot of her friends that way.
Sexuality concerns, high risk behaviors. That's me.
Because, well, sexuality concerns are, some people with brain injuries, depending where they have an injury on their brain, they actually have no drive anymore, or, sensation. Also, you might become hypersexual, and that's where Veronica lies, and you might, sleep with a lot of people but not use birth control. And still, it's important to use birth control even if you can't have children, because you have to protect against diseases. Which I know you guys have been told many times.
Cause you're in a health class. Behavioral problems. Deficits, all types, may lead to challenging behaviors, non-compliance.
That was Veronica. I'm 29 and you can't tell me what to do. And she used to say that all the time. And now, we have guardianship of Veronica because her decision-making skills are very poor and she puts herself in dangerous situations.
Aggression, confrontational behavior, lack of initiation, no.
Oh, I told you about lack of initiation and motivation. It's called adenomia. Did I tell you that already? Yeah, okay.
And withdrawal. Oh, and that is me walking out on my 16th birthday.
Only one, we were told that she'd remain in a vegetative state, and there was only one doctor, her neuropsychologist has said, you will walk out of this hospital in 3 months. Now, physical has nothing to do with mental. She could walk, but mentally she was a mess. But, with deficits, but the doctor that said she would walk out of the hospital said, I bet you a Coke, she will walk out. And so when he had his office in a, physical therapy building, and the first time we went there, we took a Coke and gave it to him.
But like all these nurses were like so supportive, like he brought a guitar and sang happy birthday, like
One lady
brought a
her
little
Victoria's
cake.
Secret lip gloss.
Yep, and like one of the nurses brought me a little cake, like it was just,
It was good.
it was the best 16th birthday.
I know that some of you will never abide by these, but, I'm gonna mention them.
Mom, didn't you already say them?
No, wear a helmet on your bike and skateboard. Do not car surf. Who knows what car surfing is? Do you ever do it? You'll never tell me if you do it, huh? Well, we had somebody in our, neighborhood that did it, and she got a severe traumatic brain injury, and Veronica was actually friends with her, and afterwards, she was so different that Veronica actually stopped being her friend. And then it was weird because we actually got into the same situation, and it's made us a lot more empathetic and compassionate toward others. So we actually learned a lesson from it by actually going through it. Oh, the only thing else, I forget when my husband and I get in arguments sometimes. If a little while goes by and we're not talking, I forget. And so I'm all happy-go-lucky, and I see him and he's still mad, and I can't figure out why he's mad at me. And it's because I forgot that he was mad at me. And Veronica does that too. She'll get really mad and run into her bedroom, and a little while later she'll come up and I'll apologize, and she's, I don't know why you're apologizing.
Like,
Kinda
are you
good.
mad at me?
So, that's all.
Is there any questions?
Yes.
So you guys like you guys were talking about like how you have faith in God,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Were you like mad at God after your accident? Like were you?
I'm gonna tell you, since you're a believer, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't always tell this, but, we were never mad, and we never asked why. When we got in the accident and I woke up from being unconscious, I never felt more calm in my life. I don't know if it was shock or what it was, but I knew that if I had died, it would be okay. I felt a bubble in the car, and it was wrapped around Veronica's left side, which her blood pressure was 52/0 when she got into the ambulance. And,
Around your right side.
yeah, around my right side and in the middle of us. And I just felt like we were cushioned. And there was so
And the
much glass.
windshield, like, didn't break. I got one piece of glass in my,
It did. They took the jaws of life,
yeah.
took the top off the car to get us out, and all the glass was broken. And Veronica only got one teeny little piece in her face. We didn't get hurt outwardly, only inside. And then, I had a coat in the back of the car, and
It
the
was
sleeves,
filled.
the sleeves were folded twice, filled with glass.
It's crazy.
The whole thing was crazy. And we believe that God used us to help others believe in him, because there's a lot of people that saw Veronica as a miracle, and it made them closer to the Lord. So, you have a question?
You guys wearing seatbelts?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make a joke.
Oh,
Show your tattoo, Mom.
I can't, it's up here.
Mom got, use me, Lord.
On my hip,
Yeah.
yeah, because I really believe that he did. A lot of people are super angry, and they say, why me? But I don't ever say why me, because we actually have learned to find joy in every day again. And it took about 10 years, but now we're good. And we have new friends and everything, yes.
So like before the accident, was your faith like, did it get stronger like after your accident?
Yes.
happened?
We were very, very, big in our church before, like, my priest, and, my, confirmation,
Teacher?
yeah.
Sponsor.
Sponsor, like, they came to the church regularly, or to the hospital regularly.
A few times, yeah. they did.
And a family that we were really good friends with came to the hospital regularly, and like, just, I don't know, like and now, like, we didn't really find a church that we wanted
Afterward.
to go to for about 10 years, and now we're like really big in another church again.
But we believe that you can be faithful and spiritual without going to church, because God
Yeah.
is everywhere.
Yes.
But I didn't think before the accident I could be closer to the Lord,
Right.
but I found out afterwards that I could. Yes,
You like Catholic or like?
yes, Catholic.
Yes, Catholic.
Anybody else?
No.
Nope.
Can you tell us what is a typical day for you guys? Like, what do you do?
Well, we always do the dishes. Veronica has a routine in the morning.
I do.
We run errands in the afternoon. I can't believe people that work get anything done
So
outside
I
of work.
wake
Because,
up about 8:39 and
oh,
I-
you told her your morning. Did she tell you her
No.
morning? A little
okay,
bit.
so, and then I go to my bathroom and I brush my teeth and I go pee and then I go upstairs and I get a cup of coffee, or I get a cup and go back downstairs and I get my coffee from my little Keurig and then I go upstairs and I drink it and I watch Price is Right and
Then you go get ready for the day.
yep, and then I go get ready for the day and then
We have a lot of appointments. It
Yeah.
is
and
unreal.
then berries.
We see a psychiatrist, we're seeing counselors. Veronica was in physical therapy for, the things that happened to her a long time ago, she still has pain from. And sometimes she'll have to go to physical therapy for periods of time to help her, like, she needs to go back again for balance, because she loses her balance really easily and she falls. I probably need to go too. Yes,
So like the symptoms that you had, like would they go away and come back? Kinda?
what part of symptoms? The ones that are for physical
Yeah.
therapy? We get stronger after some physical therapy, but if you don't stay really active, you know, you get weaker. So, oh, we go for walks a lot.
Yeah.
I make dinner and we watch TV in the evening.
We go shopping a lot.
Yes,
Did you have to relearn how to cook after?
I wasn't allowed to cook for months.
Oh.
Because I am really, even to this day, really bad at turning off the burners and the oven. And I have a note behind the oven on the wall that says, turn off burners, turn off oven, cause it's really dangerous. And Veronica, she rarely cooks because
I burn myself like all the time.
and she, a long time ago went to pull something out of the oven and didn't wear gloves. And so she dropped it on the floor and she burned herself. Anybody? Yes,
What type of burn is it?
what
What type of
burn?
It was just a blister.
Yeah, didn't have to go to the hospital for it, thankfully. So, anybody else? Was this at all useful to you, or did you feel like I was preaching? I hope you didn't.
It was useful.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just trying to teach people so they have an idea when you get out of high school, or even people